ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday for real this time. And we are here with Matthew Shapiro, Esquire.
Hello.
I am Jared Kubika Miller, your debate coach.
My debate coach.
Professor. Yeah. Everybody's debate coach. Yeah. Tim Seavey is out dress shopping with his wife. No, Beyonce. I got that wrong. Yeah.
Trouble, man. You're going to get a guy in trouble doing that.
Yeah, I know.
His wife doesn't know about his fiance.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, anyways. My God.
Yeah, Jared just did a false start on me, and he's like, okay, are you ready? And I was like, okay, I'm ready. Put your game face on. And then he's like, he didn't start. Long story short, it's like a football false start. It's a joke. Anyways, so look, I'll just commandeer the conversation for a second and let you all know that I've been begging to have this resolution, something like this, for a while now. And Jared and Tim, who is not here, begrudgingly accepted my topic for today. So the question is, is debate fun? People may not understand how deep and important this topic really is. So I think that's Let's just start with that. Jared, do you even think this is important?
No, well,
No, that was his answer. Strike everything after no. Thank you very much. Continue. You may answer the question.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, there's a lot of parts that I think are pretty important to talk about, like the parts that aren't fun too, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why you phrase it as a question about, is it fun? And you start going down this pathway of self-exploration. You're like,
yeah.
Why am I doing this?
And I mean, so today, I want to talk about a lot of things. I know hopefully we have 1,000 debaters watching, and to all of you 1,000 debaters, hello. And we have 1,000 judges watching, and to you, we say hello. And same for coaches and things of that nature. And just, people like Jared and I, and Tim, who's with us in spirit always, we're lifers, right? I mean, I don't know the term for it, okay, but there's the person who's done one cool off, and there's the person who competed a couple years, and then there's the person who is 43 years old and it's still consuming their life. So we're talking to all of you out there, and all 1,000 of you each, and there's just different parts of it that are.
Go for it then. Like what do you like about it?
Well, to start with, I think I like starting with the fundamental premises here. I mean, I got into debate originally because I thought it was fun. I thought it sounded like a good, fun time, and I guess that's, even a threshold bar as a teacher. I know you've seen it, 1,000 times. Not everyone sees it that way, right?
Yeah.
And but I do think that the people who have the bug, and it is the fun, quote unquote, that keeps you here. No?
There's a certain rush that you get when you're doing it, and now a lot of people don't like that rush, and they just write it off as anxiety,
or
right?
especially at first. But yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. When I went to tournaments, I didn't eat right, and I had stomach cramps at the end of days. I mean, you're just kind of stressing the whole time, and so you, I don't know. It never seemed to deter me. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta watch, what I'm eating. Well, I mean, and also, you're thinking so much about topics, you're not really thinking about yourself. You're just getting consumed in it as like an exercise. You know what I mean? And so.
Yes, and so the other side of the coin, the neg here in the debate. I mean, if it was phrased "debate is fun," the AF would be talking about the fun we have, and the neg would be at least hitting it straight up. Debate is a lot of work. Anyone who thinks the first time they heard about it, when I think about me, the first time I heard about it, it just seems like this fun thing to do. But the deeper you get in, the more you learn that you don't know as much as you thought.
Yeah.
And when you have the bug, you pursue. You're not comfortable until you learn more. And what's his name, Rumsfeld or whoever. The more you learn, it seems like you don't know more. The more you learn, the more you know you don't know. So
there's known knowns and there's known unknowns.
Yeah.
And there's some unknown knowns and there's some known unknowns. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
Right.
But
I like talking about like different topics. That definitely appealed to me. Like when I got into it, like NPDA, I think was sort of climbing in popularity. It seems like NPDA might be declining in popularity these days, and that's unfortunate. But I still like, I still like any type of limited preparation debate, just because you kind of get to chat about a bunch of different topics. You know what I mean? That's really cool. And a little bit, and the thing is, like, you really got to be open-minded about it. I think one of the things that's not fun about debate is that you learn not to necessarily have an opinion on things.
Yeah, I haven't had opinions since 1993. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anymore. I don't even know.
It just pisses people off. You know what I mean? Because, like, I think there's plenty of debaters that are very opinionated. But, I don't know. One of the things that I learned was to have less opinions about stuff.
Me too. And I think that's a part of debate is doing both sides. And we talk about it on this program all the time where, sometimes it does take some getting used to saying things you may not necessarily believe or align philosophically with. But, on the other hand, if you can string together persuasive arguments, having evidence at your disposal, it's like, what does it matter how I believe in a debate round? And for as cynical as that sounds, I love that about debate. And I think that helps me as a person to this day. And one of the aspects of today, hopefully I'll try to strap this down to some more specifics, but how it's affected my personal life to today. I constantly am evaluating two sides, and if I don't see a second side, before I start thinking I've just figured out the world, I start questioning, what am I not seeing, or how could I adjust my vision to kind of find another side? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of do. Searching out for even some of the most ridiculous conspiracy theories, or like it makes it. I don't know. I start feeling sort of immune to those things, and so people take them so seriously too, and so in that respect, that sometimes that's fun, but then if it feels like you can't break through with somebody like that, that's so disappointing. It's like you think that debate is capable of so much, but when it comes up short, it's kind of sad.
That aspect of, I'm not trying to persuade my opponent, I'm trying to persuade the judge. But now you're just like in a room, drinking beers with an opponent for the last 6 hours, and you're like, okay, so I'm not going to convince you. I like learning about all these, you say conspiracy theories, there's all kinds of words for whatever you want to call them, but yeah, they're fascinating. You're on the internet at 2 a.m. reading about them, but that's different than different than trying to like, persuade someone or questioning why they believe them. So let me try to focus this down a little bit, because if we can, I know it was a long time ago. We joke all the time, but like, Jared, you were a competitive debater for Long Beach. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started off at El Camino.
El Camino. So shout out to El Camino and Long Beach, all you thousands of alumni watching right now. What are some highlights? Let's just use the word for today. Let's define the word highlight as fun things you remember from your competitive times at Elko and at Long Beach. Maybe let's just start there. Like, what really started sinking their teeth into you to kind of fall in love with this community and this activity?
Well, I mean, I've always been really into like puzzles, and I kind of saw these different topics as those types of puzzles. You know what I mean? Like you're trying, and it's really a really complicated puzzle because the goal of the puzzle is to get a person to side with you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like if I do it,
it's not a rainbow. It's a human who
like,
hates you. No, I'm just
kidding.
kidding.
If I say X, Y, and Z in this order, that person will vote for me. You know what I mean? It's like
then those puzzle pieces fit together.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, but you could also like, and so there's a number of ways to do that. It's like you can get to know that judge really well, or you can get to know the topic. You do both, obviously, as much as possible to cover your bases. But it was, I don't know, it felt like, and so the way that you practice is by just learning more about the topics. You know what I mean? And I've always been a big fan
of theory. But yeah,
well, I've been a big fan of reality. You know what I mean? It's like that's
huge fan.
You'd be like, yeah, you know, it's like I can't seem to give it up. And so
I can, but hey, different strokes.
Like the thought that everybody has the same access, you know, in the event, everyone has the same access to information. You know what I mean? And so that was pretty cool. It wasn't that, you know, you necessarily had a bunch more money or anything like that for equipment, right? Or, you know, sometimes there's equipment that helps, but by and large, it was, all right, based off of, you know, the best information out in the world, can you tell the best story, you know? So.
This was pre-internet.
Yeah.
Just so you all know, you know, he's not even talking about, we all have like iPhones and, you know, six Washington Post episodes.
We still had to like for our stamp tubs, we still had to like, you know, print out news articles. This is way back before, you know, the electronic file.
There were dinosaurs walking around.
Yeah. And we went into this computer lab, and the computer lab still had like that perforated paper that goes in one big sort of strip.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I do.
It's like the paper is all connected.
Yeah, they crinkle, and
it just keeps on feeding it through. And so we printed it, and there's like dozens of pages, and we just up and left. We like walked out halfway through. We're like, well, we gotta go.
I remember. I mean, it was with you. I mean, the first time I ever heard about debate was after spending time in Jared's argumentation class. And at the end of the class, he's like, hey, you should try out going to a cool-off tournament or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that was it. And I had the bug. I did. I really wanted to. I think I enjoyed it more than you understood, if that makes sense. And that second semester, I mean, even there, though, the pre-competition discussions with your coach and with the team and with your partner.
I like high level functioning too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, because so many people, you know, in the real world, it just seems kind of things can fall flat when you start asking for evidence, and who knows what you're, you know, when you really boil it down and hold someone to their words and make them prove to you, you know, it's just a fun atmosphere for the first time. That was the first time, you know, it seemed like it's not about writing it on paper. It's about arguing it with a bunch of people and subjecting yourself to a judge. Hotels.
Like the collaborative part. Yeah,
I love it. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
To this day, I love that feeling of like not necessarily being alone while I'm doing some kind of higher level thinking in my mind. I mean, it feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, like you're doing that for so many hours in a day.
It's exciting.
Yeah, you don't, man. You put so much effort into it. You don't realize the headache that comes on. And so.
Yeah, this one can kind of fit into both, right? And right now I'm talking about it as a highlight. Just a quick couple more highlights, a little more obvious. And if you don't know, I mean, this is why we go to tournaments, is because, you know, you go to a hotel oftentimes. And you're with your team. I mean, it's like, it's a very social environment. And it's funny because in high school, I didn't debate in high school. I debated in college. But in high school, I had this little clique of friends, and every day we hung out. And then I got to college at first, and I didn't really have anyone there that I was hanging out with. I had no reason to stay on campus. And debate was the first time where my grades actually went up because I was just like at school doing homework in the squad room, waiting for people to come in and talk and do debate stuff, and just didn't have a reason to leave school where I typically would just go home immediately after class. And that kind of feeds into the whole hotel, social aspect of it, which is a very big positive for me in my experience. It was like what was one of the driving forces, what kept me in, because and I know that it is not all fun, and competition is hard. Competition is stressful. Competition is demoralizing. It was the first time I'd just been crushed in public, basically. I mean, you're just like you just lost, and their intellect and articulation and elocution is better than yours. So you lost the round, and it's just kind of like, that is harsh. Okay, so and to harken back, not to take all your time here, but the pre-competition prep can be very stressful. I mean, it's you're worried. You're worried about failure. You're worried about missing that one article that you need, right? So there's a bit of madness in it, and I guess people should know that. I mean, it's not unusual to have a little bit of a, conflicting relationship with this activity.
Well, I think the travel has a big component to do with it. The pandemic is really showing that. I'm hearing from coaches all over the place that they're having real trouble retaining students on their team. That it's really hard, and there's a lot more attrition now during the pandemic, and so. Now that things are loosening up and that the vaccine is, rolling out pretty well, and the chances that travel is coming back, I think we might be seeing, even more participation this next season. I'm wondering. I'm hoping so.
Just to rapid fire, I'd like to move on to coaching and judging and other things, but just to rapid fire some of the cons, some of the things that I literally remember pretty vividly from competition that was, not necessarily a highlight. It was more of like a lesson learned in my life. You learn about pressure. There's a learning curve in debate, like the jargon and the everything about debate seems to have a bunch of little rules that the people who know about them seem to have an easier time doing it, right? So there's a learning curve in the theory itself. You start learning about critical thinking, which is kind of a pro and a con, because you start realizing you might realize you suck for the first time, you know what I mean? And like, you're critical of yourself, and that's a lesson I learned in debate, probably more than other things, that it's harsh. Maybe people are adverse to it, but it was good in the long run, if you ask me. And you ask yourself if you're smart enough, and just losing, like I said. Jared's lost on the biggest levels, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hurts. He remembers that. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but would you take it back? Would you change it? No, you're still here. So it's almost self-evident. You know what I mean? So how about?
I don't know. You don't really look back all that much. You're not sitting there. It's not like Al Bundy, where you just go back to your high school football games or something like that. But like, if you're still in the game, to be like as a coach or something like that, you're in the now, right? Like, I'm excited for, the team I might be able to build next year. I think that would be really cool.
It's exciting, right? Like, you're kind of, the prospect is already, making you juiced on next year. I think the theme of today is to be great is not easy. Debate is an area where you can kind of excel and be great, and some sacrifice. You have to sacrifice to be good at this activity. But in the end, win or lose, once you get good and you're confident, no matter win or lose, like, it's worth it because you've become great to your own self, and something you learned.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about coaching, right? I mean, I think that a lot of people.
Yeah, let's talk about coaching.
My brother just called me up today. He's like, "Hey, man, I've been thinking about debate. You need anybody to help out and watch some debates?" It's like, doing it for money or anything like that. He just
Yeah.
kind of enjoys it, and you know what, I think of it as like an exercise.
Yeah.
It's like exercises are fun. Sometimes they're just exercises, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, look, the coaching, in my experience with coaching, I mean, there is no question that in my mind, more than the other subjects or classes I took, like debate has a chance of like changing. It changed my life. So when I look at it, when I was teaching it, I feel like you have the chance to really change someone's life. Like you often, we talk about giving people the voice for the first time. Some people really start thinking long and hard about how they feel about certain things and turn them into cases or whatever. I mean, and as a coach, you get that opportunity to kind of be the arbiter of change in that person's life. And there's a lot of joy I got, or I get, from even the thought of helping someone along to get them in a spot, even in this community, which is a game, but it's very, affects people. And so I guess in that light, that's the biggest joy of coaching. I mean, and the money, clearly the money, but other than that,
I mean, yeah, like don't go for the money, man. You're gonna be disappointed.
That was a joke.
Yeah,
there's very Let's not talk about that.
It's a shame that there isn't more prestige. Like I don't know. I kind of like the way that like judging is going. I like how they're finding a way to compensate people for that time better.
Yeah,
better. You know what I mean? It's like at least better than when I remember. I think people deserve that. You know what I mean? It's like
people do deserve it because it's hard and it's not all fun, right? I mean, as the debate coach, you're often working on top of being a professor. So again, like there's madness in that, and people can question whether it's quantifiably worth it financially, or if it is the love of doing this and being a part of not only the community, but being a part of the next, generation or the next lineup of people who have no idea, and you get to watch their eyes light up going, wow, this is really something else. I mean, because I had that feeling, and I'd like to think other people do too. I think some of you do. I know, Jared, I feel like you had to have. You're still here, so.
Yeah, I mean, I came pretty close to just kind of hanging it up, but then somebody asked me to come back and do it, and now here we are, and we're talking about building a big old team.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Thinking about that, there could be a whole other generation of people that get influenced. Maybe some of them as much as me.
You still feel a lot of pride when your students win, yeah? I mean, you're still in the hunt.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to. I'm ashamed to say, but when you've been sort of working with someone for more than a year, and you see it and it's paying off and stuff like that, and they just get at a higher and higher level, and you're able to kind of keep up with that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And there's some long nights, as we mentioned in the little caption, and there's some early mornings and driving and all that stuff, but like there's like a force inside that I think it's fun. I mean, we could pick a better word, but it's there's a joy, there's a pride you get from being a coach. I mean, just in the last couple of minutes, I have a couple questions. I mean, like we're kind of in the tournament administration game now. It's a little bit different. And you also have vast experience of being at tournaments and working with administrators. So, I mean, it's kind of the same as coaching. I would imagine like some turnover of like, there's why does someone administrate a tournament? I mean,
well, I guess it's a sort of next level of service. They're just making sure that there's an infrastructure for these things to happen. And it
die like the dinosaurs.
Yeah, it is really nice to have everything culminate in an award ceremony that goes off fairly easily, and you're seeing people get appreciated for their work. So like doing that for, I mean, it's a big group of people is pretty nice. But again, I think the way that the administration is going, where more and more of the work is getting, automated and outsourced, and that, and
streamline, whatever,
for services, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's a good way to go with it.
I think of how I felt, the first time, or the times I've stood on the podium or on the dais, whatever you call it, and got an award. And the first time I had anything to do with even just being a part of the tournament administration, even more than judging. I mean, I felt that way. I'm happy when people make it that I judge or whatever. But when you see the award ceremony go down, and it's like I had a part in like making this happen for that person to feel that, and it feels good. You know what I mean? It's, again, it all stems back to, I think, the essence of that, almost the first thing that you fell in love with. So the last question in the last minute or two, Jared. Or I guess I'll make a statement. A lot of relationships happen in this community, and there's different kinds. I don't mean any one kind. Coach, me and Jared we're in a relationship. We've had a over 10, 12-year relationship, and it stems from this activity. Although we're great friends too. People fall in love. Very many, I know more than one person who was married to someone they met in forensics. So, Jared, any experience with anything like that?
Yeah, he's talking about my wife, who...
my wife!
My wife!
In all seriousness.
Yeah. We met in speech and debate at Cal State Long Beach.
How many years ago? How long has it been?
Oh man, 17. I got my anniversary. Well, that was marriage, and so it's like 20 now.
Congratulations. 19. Happy anniversary to Tara and Jared.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't help but think, people always say, people get dumped or whatever, and they go, oh, what do you do? How do I find someone else? They go, oh, just do things you love. And then the people who are around you will see that you're doing something you love, and that generates relationships. Relationship advice, people say that. And I'm just like drawing the connection to where, like, this is something that people love to do. It's something that you love to do and Tara love to do. It's something that a lot of people, Jeanette and Joelle over at Cal State Fullerton, shout out to you. Same story. And I think it all stems from, in those long nights where you're pulling your hair out and stressing over whether tea is still an argument you should run, and arguing with your partner how each other is an idiot, like, that forges this bond. And it's only through those experiences that some of these things can happen. And so I guess the final thought is just stick with it. It's not always fun. There is a neg to the resolution on this debate today, but the pride and joy you get if you have the bug, I keep saying, I mean, it never goes away, and you'll want to push and help others to pay it forward, because I feel like it did so much for me.
Yeah. I'm excited about, like, I think I have the opportunity to go out and actually recruit some people this year, whereas before it was just kind of, inviting people, like maybe from my classes or something like that. But I want to start visiting, the local programs at the high schools, and I want to meet, the people who want to move on to the next level. I think that we could, provide that sort of structure, and it's really nice being a part of something like that. I think that the one thing that I enjoy a lot about debate is just that being part of something, just bigger, you know what I mean, than yourself, like aside from just the classes you teach.
And like a big force for good. I mean, I feel I'm biased, but that's how I feel. I mean, I somehow I just feel like it's just this doesn't do wrong. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, I think like people who, I don't know, they get into like finance or entertainment, and they're like, oh man, like people don't really have good intentions in here. It's like everyone.
And then you're like stealing old ladies' pensions. They're like, I don't know.
Yeah. It just seems like there's a lot of good intention in
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And so like I don't know, when you see a big group like that, you kind of gravitate towards it, and you want to be a better person too. So that's nice.
Push it forward, make it grow. That's right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I mean, that's it.
Well, on that, hey everybody, that's our time. We'll see you next week. We got Matt Shapiro. I'm Jared Big Miller. We're Debate Sensei. See you later.